Hi, Matt Wilson here with another weekend rock episode on my channel. This is gonna be on Traffic, the jazzy English group of the '60s and the '70s. One of my favorites, actually. I was asked to do a show on Traffic a long time ago, and I thought, yeah, I want to get to that, and then I just forgot about it. I'm also going to take the time to look at Steve Winwood's career, both before Traffic and during the duration of the years in this video, which is going to go from 67 to 74. But I'm going to look at the Spencer Davis Group, since I'm never going to do a show on the Spencer Davis Group. And then I'll do Blind Faith, since that was happening at the same time as Traffic. And then I'll do a little album he did right at the end of 74. And that's it. I won't go past 74. I won't go into Winwood's solo stuff. Okay, so we're going to start then with the Spencer Davis Group. It's easy to get the Steve Winwood era if you just pick up this. What is this? Is this 2 discs? Yeah, 2 disc set on the Chronicles label. It gives you the 3 albums and then various singles and whatnot. I gotta be honest with you guys though, no Spencer Davis Group album is that great to these ears. Also, as is the case with these box sets, with these little compilations, they don't adequately show you what the album covers look like. Well, they do, but they're very tiny. So I'll just do them all quickly. This is the debut. I don't know if you can even see it. This is the second album, and this is Autumn '66. Debut is in 1965. The other 2 were in '66. None of them are 5-star albums or even close. The second album is the one that gets the most acclaim, but really, and they didn't write, the band did not write a lot of the material on any of these albums. At the most, like 1 or 2. I don't even know if one of those albums even has 3, possibly 3 at the most tracks are written by the members of the band. But they're mostly a covers band, a mid-60s UK covers band. They featured Steve Winwood, though, who even at that time, a teenage Winwood, was the standout of the group. Their song, well, the hits, Keep On Running and I'm a Man and Give Me Some Lovin'. Anyways, if you want their material, it's easy to get. I even have this is another little box set. What's this called? Just the Spencer Davis Group. Taken Out Time, complete recordings, 67 to 69. This is when the Winwood, brothers left, Steve and Muff. The band carried on without the Winwoods. I don't really know what the point was, but here you go. You can get their recordings. So if you want all the '60s Spencer Davis Group recordings, you can get them on these little box sets, and they're not expensive. Okay, all right, let's start with Traffic. 3 minutes into this show. Traffic. This is the mono mix of the album. I don't know if this is considered superior to the stereo mix or not. I know that mono fetishists, of which normally I am one, will tell you that it is. I don't really have an opinion on the matter since I just got this not too long ago. But this is a great way to have the album. You get the whole UK version of the album, then you get selected singles from that era. Paper Sun, Giving to You, that 45. Hole in My Shoe, Smiling Phases, that 45. And then Here We Go Around the Mulberry Bush from that's a soundtrack to a film. And that film also had the Spencer Davis Group on there, sans the Winwood brothers. So that's the way to get the album in mono. It's a classic. It's psychedelic. It's has the classic title track, which maybe to this day might be my favorite Traffic song, Dear Mr. Fantasy. Dealer, which Santana later covered. Heaven Is in Your Mind, Berkshire Poppies. A House for Everyone. Colored Rain, which Eric Burdon and the Animals covered the very next year. It's great. This is the first version I ever heard. This is the Mobile Fidelity one that came. This is the same one I've had for decades now. It's the stereo mix. It doesn't have any bonus tracks, but this is how I have always known the album. That's why I'm reluctant to think that the mono version is better, but it's probably just as good. But this album is a weird album to contemplate, because not only is it just the deciding whether you like the stereo or the mono mix is better, because you can decide that with a lot of albums from the 60s, but there's the case of the American album, Heaven is in Your Mind. Now, a lot of fans, probably American fans, think that this is the better version. It does not contain all of the songs that are on, I don't think it contains anyway, all the songs that are on the UK version, but it does have those singles that I was just mentioning earlier interspersed. So you can get a good screenshot of that. This is the mono mix. Of course, there's a mono and a stereo mix of this as well. Decide which one. I don't know which one I would prefer, because I grew up with the stereo UK version, so that sounds like that's the proper way to hear the album in my mind. And look, at this one starts with Paper Sun, then Dealer is the second track. Holding My Shoe is the fourth song. Berkshire, Given to You. Smiling Phases is the 10th song. Dear Mr. Fancy doesn't come along until the 11th track. And then We're a Fade, You Missed This is the last track. So, it's a way different listening experience than the UK version. Okay. 1968, their classic second album, Traffic. Again, this is the Mobile Fidelity version. This could be their best album. This or Mr. Fantasy, You Can All Join In is great. Pearly Queen. I got to mention that Dave Mason was in there, was in Traffic in the 60s. He would quit and then rejoin, but he's on all the three 60s albums. And I think that Dave Mason adds, a good deal to the group. Don't Be Sad, Who Knows What Tomorrow May Bring. I love all these songs. Feeling All Right, of course, with Joe Cocker would have the big hit with. About the same time as this, right? Or the same year, 68, 69, something like that. Vagabond version is good. 40,000 Headman's one of their best cuts. Cry to Be Heard, No Time to Live, and Means to. Yeah, it could be their best album, but, anybody who wants to opt for the first album is not going to be ignored by me. All right, then Steve briefly leaves to join Eric Clapton and Ginger Baker and Rick Gretsch in Blind Faith. I've showed you guys this MoFi disc when I did my Clapton show. I love the record. I love the record as much as most any Cream album. I think the combination of Clapton and Winwood was unbeatable. And then you get, Ginger in there, and you get 2/3 of Cream. I love the record. So again, Had to Cry Today, Can't Find My Way Home, Well All Right, the Buddy Holly number, Presence of the Lord, classic, Sea of Joy, and even Do What You Like, which goes on a bit long, has grown on me over the years. So I love it. In that same year, in 69, when Traffic was, probably seen to be on their last legs, they released the still pretty good Last Exit album. This is a combination of previously released singles and some live stuff, but as a kind of a potpourri, kind of like an odds and sods kind of release. It's not bad. Just For You, Shanghai Noodle Factory is good. Something's Got a Hold of My Toe, Withering Tree, and Medicated Goo. Those are well-known Traffic songs. And then the live stuff is Feeling Good and Blind Man, which is okay. Traffic, you would think they would have been a great band live, but based upon their live releases, I'm not so sure, none of them really blow me away. But since there's not that much live material on here, and I do like the studio stuff, I give The Last Exit a thumbs up. But when the band was fully back in top form, sans Dave Mason, in 1970 they gave us the superior John Barleycorn Must Die, which had like heavy folky roots, it was almost like folk prog, and it's another strong album, guys. It starts with the immortal Glad Freedom Rider, 1-2 punch opens up the record, then Empty Pages, it couldn't be any better. I Just Want You to Know, Stranger to Himself, John Barleycorn Must Die, which I've heard that song on the radio. Every Mother's Son is good. Sitting Here Thinking of My Love. And then they get live stuff. Backstage and introduction, who knows what tomorrow may bring, live and glad live. So, you know, these Island remasters, which came out, I don't know, back in the 2000s, they're the way to go with Traffic. If you don't need the fancy gold discs that I'm showing you. If you just want to get these remasters, you know, you don't need anything else, I don't think. At that same time, the erstwhile Dave Mason was off exploring his solo career. He made a solo album which Mama Cass added some tracks onto in 1971. But in 1970, I think Alone Together is a virtual classic. I love it. It's a singer-songwriter album. He plays guitar on here and plays it well. These are great songs. Only You Know and I Know used to be a radio hit. I don't know if it made the top 40 or not, but I used to hear it all the time. Can't Stop Worrying, Can't Stop Loving, Waiting on You is great. Shouldn't Have Took More Than You Gave is great. World and Changes. This whole album is awesome. Sad and Deep as You, Just a Song, and Look at You, Look at Me, which is really good. So it's a great way to end the album, and it's a longer track. So Alone Together, this is the old Low Fidelity version. Wolfie had an interest in Winwood and Traffic, as you can see, sporadically doing these albums. Welcome to the Canteen is 1971. They get Dave Mason back for this live album. It's pretty good, but it's not recorded that well. The vocals, for instance, are kind of buried underneath the instrumentation. This is when they start getting, augmenting the band. You get Dave Mason here again. Chris Wood and Rick Gretsch is on from Blind Faith. Rebop Kwakuba and Jim Gordon on drums. I don't know why Capaldi felt that they needed him. Medicated Goo, Sad and Deep. Oh yeah, that's right. They do Dave Mason tunes on here from Alone Together. Sad and Deep as You, 40,000 Headmen, Shouldn't Have Took More Than You Give. That's the second Dave Mason tune. Dear Mr. Fantasy, and even Spencer Davis says Give Me Some Lovin'. So it's a hodgepodge of releases, of songs. So it makes it unique. I don't know if this is my favorite live Traffic or not. Could be. All right, their last classic album in my estimation. There's the MoFi Low Spark of High Heeled Boys. This is when they really begin to get that kind of like a lazy jamming quality, which they would have for their final 3 albums on that live album. But the songs are good though. Hidden Treasure is awesome. Low Spark of High Heeled Boys is one of their best songs, and it's almost 12 minutes. It's a song I used to hear on the radio when I was a kid. Rock and Roll Stew is good. Many a Mile to Freedom. Light Up and Leave Me Alone. That's a great one. And Rainmaker. This is virtually another classic. Maybe not quite as good as the 2 albums from the early, not the early, but the late 60s. But it's a fine companion piece, though, to John Barleycorn. Along similar lines, but just not quite as good, Shootout at the Fancy Factory. MoFi again. It's still pretty good. I still know all these songs. And, well, of course, I've had this disc for decades. The title track is good. I've heard that on the radio. Roll Right Stones is pretty good, but it's almost 12 minutes. Evening Blue, Tragic Magic, and some people find sometimes I feel so uninspired to be kind of dull. I like it. So I think this album is pretty good. It's just not as good as any Traffic album before this that's not Last Exit, which was a thrown together album. They're trying to, put together a full, new release of new songs. It's probably not as successful as the previous ones. That same year in 73, although I think it came out in 74, I don't remember now. It's the double album On the Road. Oh, this is long. There's 6 numbers on here, 2 of which take up a whole album side. I don't know if I'm going to be able to read this. I'm not even going to try. But yeah, it's long. It's the same band that gave you Shootout at the Fancy Factory, because they're touring off of that record. And I don't know if, certainly not any of these versions are definitive. I don't know if any versions on live at the Canteen were definitive either. But it's just, I'm all for long jamming. This is a Japanese disc songs. Look at me, I'm a huge Deadhead. But I don't know that Traffic were musicianly enough to pull it off. Some of those solos just kind of, meandered. And I'm including Winwood on piano. All right, so the last studio album is When the Eagle Flies, another Japanese disc. It is my least favorite. Perhaps if I'd spent more time in my life playing this album, I'm not even going to go over the songs. I would enjoy it more. There's nothing on here that's really classic. Nothing I've ever heard on the radio. Nothing that ever sank into the American rock consciousness. Maybe it's different in England. It's not bad, but it's not even as good as Shootout at the Fantasy Factory. But then again, I know Traffic fans who enjoy this album. But then I can say that about almost any album by any major band. So perhaps the failing is mine. I just never, it was a top 10 hit in England. I just haven't played that in my life as much as, I probably would have to for it to grow on me. We're usually pretty good about showing you guys box sets or compilations of a band. I don't have a Traffic box set, but I got this 2-disc set which covers their whole career. Smiling Faces, yep. Island covers the years, 67 to 74 quite well. It doesn't really miss any major songs that I can remember. So if you're just looking for like an overview and don't want to start investing in the albums themselves, this will do it, folks. This will do it. All right, I promised you guys a little Steve Winwood album. This is from '74. It's what's the guy's name? Stomo Yamashita. I made this with Steve Winwood and Michael Shreby, the drummer for the percussionist, whatever, for Santana. Go, I think is what it's called. Yep, that's what it says on the. It's a kind of a proggy album. That's how I got into it, of course, because of my prog leanings. It's good, and the song that Winwood, the first song he sings, is really good. We got here Solitude, Nature, Air Rover, Crossing the Line, Manoflio, Stellar, Space Theme, Space Requiem, Space Song, Carnival. You kind of getting the space theme here. Ghost Machine, Surf Spin, Timesphere, and Winner Loser. Anyways, it's good. I don't know anything about Stomu Yamashita, so can't recommend you to anything else, but I do enjoy this record. And Winwood is singing well, as he virtually almost always does. So, there you go. Traffic. I'm going to say 4 great albums. Mr. Fantasy, Traffic, John Barleycorn, and Low Spark. Some fairly decent live stuff. And then some decent albums to fill out their career after those great 4. Pick up Blind Faith, pick up Alone Together, and maybe even that Go album. And you've got what those guys were capable of during the years 67 to 74. I'm not going to recommend you need to get the Spencer Davis Group records, but a good compilation containing the obvious hits. Yes, definitely. All right, so, all right, guys, till next time. Matt signing off.